Okay, so good day everyone. We will start with the discussion for our next chapter of our subject, tourism policy planning and development. So for our topic today, we will discuss basic concepts of tourism policy planning and development. So moving forward, for the learning objectives, these are the learning points that you should be able to acquire at the end of our discussion. So the first one is you have to know in defining tourism policy, tourism planning, and tourism product development and explain their relationship within one another. Second is explain the dimensions of tourism planning and determine the benefits of tourism planning. And last but not the least, you have to identify the prerequisite for effective tourism plans and product development. So now, if I will ask you, why do we plan? So in our day-to-day lives, not only in tourism, but in every movement, on our day-to-day situations, on our day-to-day lives, if I will ask you, bakit ba tayo nagpaplano? Or why do we plan for our lives? Or why do we need to plan? Okay, so that's the question that I will leave to you so that you can answer this. Okay, so moving forward, tourism. So let's define tourism. So we already defined tourism in our previous discussion. So when we say tourism, there are three criteria in order for us to consider the activity as tourism. So according to United Nations World Tourism Organization, when we say tourism, it is a traveling of people from one place to another in outside their usual environment for a minimum of 24 hours but not more than 365 years or 1 year, and for the purpose of leisure, business, so on and so forth. So that's how we define tourism. Now, moving forward, what's the meaning or what do we mean when we say tourism planning? So earlier, I asked you, why do we need to plan? So in tourism or in the industry of tourism and hospitality, we are planning because we want to sustain and prolong all of the products and services, the attractions and destinations that we are offering to our guests. Now, when we are defining tourism planning, it says that it is the process of identifying objectives and defining and evaluating methods of achieving that considers all of tourism resources, organizations, markets, and program within the region. So according to Spanudis, tourism planning must always proceed within the framework of an overall plan for the development of an area's total resources, local condition, and demands be satisfied. So in short, when we say tourism planning, we are creating a framework, we are strategizing in order for us to sustain or to preserve, to prolong the products and services that we are offering to our tourists, to our customers, and to our guests. Because tourism planning is very essential in our industry, which later on we will discuss. Okay? So moving forward, what is a tourism policy? So when we are planning a strategy, when we are planning a framework in order for us to sustain our resources in the industry, we also need to create a policy. So what is a tourism policy? So a tourism policy is a set of rules, regulations, guidelines, directives, and development or promotion objectives and strategies that provide framework within which the collective as well as the individual decision directly long-term development and the daily activities within a destination are taken. So this is according to Goldner and Ritchie in 2003. So in short, in a simple explanation, when we say tourism and tourism policy, these are the set of rules and regulations that we need to follow, that we need to take in consideration when we are using or leveraging the products and services that we have in the industry. So same with law enforcement, diba? There are a lot of rules, there are a lot of laws that we are abiding in order for us to have a smooth and efficient framework. Same with the tourism industry. There are also some policies or there are also a lot of policies that we need to follow in order for us to protect our resources. Okay? Now, I will give you an example of a tourism policy in the Philippines. Ito yung mga rules or set of regulations that we are following, okay, to protect our resources. So, one of the best example is the Republic Act 9593, and it is also better known as the Tourism Act of 2009. So, ano ba yung Tourism Act of 2009? So, Tourism Act of 2009 is enacted by our former president, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo in Cebu City in May 12, 2009. So, under the Republic Act 9593, it recognized that tourism is an indispensable element of the national economy and an industry of national interest and importance. In short, Tourism Act of 2009. So, in simple terms, when we say Tourism Act of 2009, ito yung batas na nagbibigay layon kung saan na ang turismo sa bansa natin ay isa sa may pinakamalaking contribution at isa sa may pinakamahalagang parte sa ekonomiya ng bansa natin. Okay? Siya yung isa sa nagpo-produce at tumutulong para lumago or mag-develop yung economy natin. So that's the mandate of the Tourism Act of 2009. Okay, so I hope we are clear with this. If you have question, you can type on our chat box so that we can answer it while we are discussing the lesson. Moving forward, now, what are the importance of tourism planning? So as I mentioned earlier, I asked you, why do we plan? Bakit nga ba tayo nagpaplano? Now, let's tackle, why do we need to plan in the tourism industry? Ano ba yung kahalagahan na pinagpaplanuhan natin or nagkikreate tayo ng mga rules and regulations when it comes to our industry? So the first one is it promotes sustainable development. So when we say sustainable development, we are protecting our resources but without compromising the future generation. When we say sustainable development, pinoprotect or um, pine-preserve natin yung mga products and services na meron tayo. So for example, when we are planning or when we are strategizing in the tourism industry, we reduce environmental harm to our destinations or to our attractions. So for example, in Palawan, the local government of Palawan is mandating a total number of tourists who will visit the underground river. Okay? Because they want to preserve that destination or that attraction. And when you go to underground, Palawan Underground River, the Puerto Princesa Underground River, before the tour, before you enter the underground river, there is, what do you call this? An orientation of what are the do's and don'ts once you enter the destination or the attraction. So sinasabi nila doon na you are not allowed to touch the stalagmites and the stalactites, so on and so forth. So why? Because they need to sustain or to preserve yung mga rock formations inside the cave, because they mentioned that when you touch, since yung temperature natin ay mainit or hot, so kapag tinouch siya ng kamay natin, nawawala yung buhay ng mga rock formation doon. So they are practicing sustainable development because they want to preserve that products, and the other or the future generations can still see those attractions. So it promotes sustainable development. Next is economic benefits. So we are doing tourism planning because we want to boost the local economy. Okay? So meaning tourism industry creates a lot of jobs, it generates a lot of income, it increases tax revenues that drives our industry or our economy into boost. Okay, that's why tourism planning helps us to promotes economic benefits, because when you plan to preserve and to protect the resources, the products and services that we are offering, then it will also benefits our economy. Because as times goes by, mapapakinabangan pa rin natin sila. Hindi sila nasisira, hindi sila nawawala, hindi sila naglalaho. Because we are continuously creating rules and regulations to follow in order for those things to become protected and preserved. Okay? Next. Also, one of the importance of tourism planning is cultural preservation. So, it helps to preserve our cultural heritage by protecting our historical sites, our traditions, our customs. It also encourages positive cultural change and fostering mutual understanding between tourists and locals. So, if you are familiar with the different festivals, with the different events happening from one destinations to the other destinations such as Dinagyang, Sinulog, so on and so forth. Those are part of our cultures because as Filipinos are very religious people and we are celebrating our patrons, our saints. Now, in tourism planning, if we keep creating rules and regulations, acts that promotes celebration of those events, then we are going to continue those traditions. We can preserve them even though way back 50 years ago, 100 years ago, imagine sineselebrate na siya. But until now, we keep celebrating those kinds of events. Why? Because we have rules and regulations set that we need to celebrate those kinds of events. And by doing that, we preserve our culture and our heritage. Another example, when you go to Ilocos region, specifically in Vigan, in Calle Crisologo, okay, most of the attractions there are historical sites. Yung mga dating bahay, yung mga streets doon are historical sites. And yun ay na-preserve. Why? Because there are rules and regulations set by the government and the different tourism or agencies and organizations that we need to preserve those kinds of historical sites. Okay, that's why tourism planning is essential in the industry. Next is infrastructure and policy facility development. Okay, so proper planning ensures strategic investments in infrastructure to meet the needs of tourists and residents. It also sets standards to ensure tourism facilities meet quality and safety requirements. Diba? Before we create any buildings, before we build any buildings, any infrastructures, ang umpisa ay blueprint muna, plano muna. Same with the tourism planning. Before we uh, go outside and find investments, before we have our partnership, collaboration, and linkages from other countries, we start with the planning. Okay? Kailangan muna nating pagplanuhan at isipin ano ba yung mga kailangan nating infrastructure in order for us to have a better quality services, facilities, and equipment for our tourism industry. Okay? That's why it promotes infrastructure and facility development. Next, crisis management and risk reduction. So, when we are planning, na forecast natin or na pag-iisipan natin kung ano yung mga possible hazard or mga possible crisis na pwede nating um, makaharap or dumating sa atin. That's why tourism planning is very important because we can create contingency plan na hindi pa man siya dumadating na pagplanuhan na natin. And by doing that, nababawasan na, hindi man natin mapigilan yung parating na crisis. But since we plan, since we create strategies, since we create um, actions, then malilimit or ma-minimize natin yung impact or yung risk, mapapababa natin. So for example, one of the notable situation that we have had encountered is the COVID-19 pandemic, 'di ba? During the COVID-19 pandemic, people are not allowed to travel, not allowed to go outside. And during that time, tourism industry uh, I might not say collapse, pero bumagsak yung operation. Kasi nga, bawal mag-travel, bawal punta sa iba't ibang lugar. So, nagkaroon tayo doon ng kakulangan when it comes to planning. And that situation gave us a biggest lesson that we still uh, need to continue and make a robust planning in our sector or in our industry. Okay, and as of now, di ba, there are a lot of plannings in terms of the tourism industry. So the Department of Tourism are continuously planning. So for the sake that just in case meron ulit dumating na pandemya or whatsoever, we are always ready because we are continuously creating contingency plans. We are conducting trainings, attending seminars, so on and so forth. Okay. Next is marketing and promotion. So not only in the tourism industry, but in all of the business organization who are operating not only in the country but around the world, marketing and promotion are very essential. We have to make plans on how are we going to persuade our target market or our target customer or our target tourists, how are we going to attract them? Paano ba natin sila mape-persuade na pumunta doon sa destinations natin or doon sa tourist attractions kung saan siya located? Diba? Nowadays, technology are booming, especially social media pages such as TikTok, Facebook. Those vloggers who are promoting a lot of destinations and attractions are attracting a lot of tourists. Those strategies are part of tourism planning. Okay, we are partnering for we are partnering with those people because they have a wide reach doon sa mga target market natin. 'Di ba? As you can see, 'di ba, minsan when we are scrolling on our TikTok accounts, tas may makikita tayong vlogger na pinopromote niyang isang coffee shop or isang Instagrammable restaurant around Tagaytay. And days by days or one day at a time, bigla na lang siyang nag-boom. Ang dami na agad pumupunta dong turista. That's the power of planning when it comes to marketing and promotion. You have to target your audience. You have to target your market in a proper platform. Okay, that's why we are using technologies and we are using online platforms to promote our brands. Okay. Next is visitor experience. When we say visitor experience, we help the destination or we teach the people located in the destination on how they are going to provide quality service to the tourists that are visiting their place. We also give them training, seminars on how the proper handling of tourists, the proper handling of visitor flows, the management. For example, when you are going to one destination, halimbawa, Cebu, and you're going to try the butanding or the whale shark watching. So, meron doon na step-by-step procedure on how are you going to avail the experience. So you have to register first as a tourist, you have to pay environmental fee, you have to attend an orientation before you do the experience, so on and so forth. Because all of those flows came from tourism planning. Pinagplanuhan lahat para magkaroon ng proper directives or lahat ay isa lang yung sinusunod natin. Okay? In order for us to promote sustainable enjoyment. Okay? Ma-enjoy ng mga turista yung mga experiences that we are offering while they are having sound and safe environment. Okay? Most of the attractions, halimbawa when you are going to different zoo, meron muna silang orientation, meron muna silang mga discussions so that you are all or we are all aligned on what are we going to do when we experience those activities. Next is long-term vision. Kaya tayo nagpaplano, in short, for sustainability. Hindi naman tayo nagpaplano na, sige, magplano tayo ngayon. Bukas, wala na ulit siya. Okay? We plan because we want to sustain. Okay? Our tourism facilities, destinations, and attractions. We want to remain competitive in the market. Okay, as we all know, there are a lot of attractions and destinations booming from one place to another. Marami tayong kalaban. Hindi lang naman tayo yung bansa na may maraming natural resources. Other countries are keep developing their tourism industry in order for them to attract more tourists. So, hindi tayo pwedeng maging kampante na, ay, kilala naman yung Pilipinas. No, that's why we need to make plans, we need to make campaigns, we need to make strategies in order for us to sustain these resources. Because if we do not plan and hahayaan na lang natin yung mga resources natin, then um, somewhere, sometime, maaari siyang mawala. Especially kapag wala na siyang, hindi na siya nagagawa ng, what do you call this, protection, ng preservation. Okay, wala na tayong sinusunod. That's why tourism planning is essential. Now, moving forward, what are the dimensions of tourism planning? So these are the dimension of tourism planning that you need to take in consideration when you are going to do your framework or your strategy. So the first one, we have levels, time frame, scope, and spatial unit. So isa-isahin natin siya. Now, in terms of levels, ano ba yung mga levels ng tourism planning? So, hold on. I just drink my water. Okay, so what are the levels of tourism planning? So we have international level, national level, regional level, provincial level, municipal or city, and site level. So ma'am, what do we mean when we say level? When we say levels, class, hanggang saan or yung aabutin ng ginagawa niyong strategy or ng ginagawa niyong plano. Yung plano ba na gagawin niyo for tourism industry, ang level niya ba ay pang-international ba siya? Pang-national, pang-Pilipinas lang ba siya? Pang-Region 4A Calabarzon lang ba siya? Pang-Cavite lang ba siya? Pang-Gentry lang ba siya? Or pang-barangay lang ba siya? That's what we call level. Okay? Yung antas ng nasasakupan nung gagawin yung plano or ng strategy. So for example, you want to create a tourism plan for General Trias, Cavite. So, which level siya magpo-fall? Municipal. Okay? Why? Because General Trias is a city. Okay, so municipal siya. But for example, you are going to create a tourism plan and a framework for the whole Cebu. Eh di sa provincial siya magfo-fall. Kasi Cebu is a province. Okay? Or another example, Sangguniang Kabataan of Barangay Manggahan will create a tourism plan for Barangay Manggahan. So, saan siya magpo-fall na level? Site. Okay? Kasi barangay. Site, siya yung may pinakamababang level or maliit na step. Okay? So, that's how level work. Next naman is time frame. When we say time frame, gaano katagal yung implementation, okay, ng gagawin yung tourism plan or yung framework na ipapatupad ninyo, yung mga rules and regulations that the tourists or the people will follow. So there are three categories for time frame. The first one is the short term. So for short term, so ang coverage lang yan ay 2 years or less. Kapag medium term naman, edi 2 to 5 years. And kapag long term, more than 5 years. Okay? Next is scope. When we say scope, yung focus ng plano nyo. Saan ba siya nakafocus? Kasi when you create a tourism plan, marami siyang sangay or malawak siya. So, saan kayo magfo-focus sa pagpaplano nyo or sa gagawin yung plano when you create your tourism framework? So, these are some of the scope that you need to take in consideration. For example, physical plan. When we say physical plan, you're going to create a tourism plan that focus on the physical characteristic of a certain attraction. So, for example, gagawa kayo ng plano ng ano ba? Picnic Grove sa Tagaytay. Under physical plan, gusto nyong ayusin yung mga itsura ng mga kubo doon, ng mga upuan, ng mga uh, buildings. So, physical plan yon because you're going to build or redesign the facilities or the physical aspects of the destinations. Another scope, pwede ring environmental plan. Ang focus nyo ay to preserve or to take good care of the environment. So for example, sa Picnic Grove, you're going to create an environmental plan such as, for example, you're going to focus to waste segregation, noise pollution. Another example is you're going to uh, farm more trees. You're going to put more flowers. So more on the environment. Next is conservation plan. When we say conservation plan, you're going to preserve the present things na nandun na. Halimbawa, may mga nakatanim ng puno or merong mga lagoon. So, how are you going to conserve those things? Okay? Next naman is human resources management plan. So, ang focus nyo naman is yung mga tour guides or yung mga staff, employees na nagtatrabaho doon sa destinations na yon. Paano ba dapat sila sinasahuran? Paano ba dapat yung actions nila? Ipoprovidean nyo ba sila ng trainings? Bibigyan nyo ba sila ng orientation? Do they have an allowance? Do they have a health insurance? A uniform? A tips? So on and so forth. As long as it is focuses on the people working in that area or tourism area, then human resources management plan ang magiging focus nyo. Another example, ang gusto nyo namang i-focus ay marketing and promotions. How are you going to persuade tourists to visit that destinations or attractions? Paano mapapadami yung pumupunta dun sa attractions na yon? What are the freebies or the loyalty programs that you will offer para pumunta sila or maengganyo silang mag-visit doon sa destinations. And lastly is investment plan. You want to build more infrastructure dun sa destinations or sa attraction. Now, saan kayo kukuha ng pondo? Sino yung pwede nyong lapitan? Ano yung mga investment activities na pwede nyong gawin? These are some of the example of scope. When we say scope, tatandaan, the focus of your tourism plan. Saan kayo magfo-focus na area? Okay, kasi malawak siya. But these are some of the examples where you can focus your tourism plan or the framework. Next is spatial unit. When we say spatial unit class, ito yung mga spatial is location. Okay? So these are some saan naka-locate or ano yung connections niya on that different connections and locations. So these are the types of spatial units in tourism planning. So meron tayong tourist site, tourist development area, tourism cluster, tourism circuit, and tourism corridor. So isa-isahin natin siya. The first one is yung tinatawag nating tourist site. So when we say tourist site, an area that contains one or more tourist attractions. So example niya, Boracay. When you go to Boracay, there are a lot of tourist attraction. Boracay is considered as tourist site because there are a lot of tourist attractions there. For example, nandoon yung what do you call this, different island hopping site. There are a lot of hotels, there are a lot of activities, so considered siya as tourist site. As long as that destination have or contain one tourist attraction, then it is already considered as tourist site. For example, Cavite, tourist site siya. Kasi when you go to Cavite, there are a lot of attraction. Nandyan yung Corregidor Island. The Tagaytay City, nandyan yung Picnic Grove, nandyan yung Palace in the Sky, nandito yung bahay ni former President Emilio Aguinaldo. So that's considered as tourist site. Now, moving forward, what is tourism development area? When we say tourism development area, it is a specific region designated by government authorities or tourism organization for focused development to boost tourism. Example, Cebu, Bohol. Pag sinabi nating tourism development area, ito yung mga lugar kung saan mataas yung tsansa na mag-boom or mag-boost yung turismo. Maraming pumupuntang turista, maraming nagvi-visit na turista. Okay, example sa Pilipinas, Cebu, Bohol. 'Di ba? Cebu, Bohol are famous destinations for tourists because there are a lot of tourism experiences and activities that they can try and visit, okay, in this area. Another example ng tourism development area, Palawan. Okay? In Palawan, you can go to Coron, you can go to Puerto Princesa, you can go to El Nido. There are a lot of attractions and destinations there. So, this area are part of tourism development area kasi sila yung may potential or they are the booming destinations in a certain country. Okay, yun lang naman yung tatandaan nyo. Merong potential of development na mas mag-boom pa or mag-boost pa yung tourism. Next is tourism cluster. When we say tourism cluster, it refers to a group of interconnected tourism-related businesses, attractions, and services within a specific geographic area that work together to enhance the overall tourism experience. So, example is yung Vegan Lawag Pagudpud Heritage and Nature Cluster tourism. So, when we say tourism cluster class, sila ay mga lugar located in one cluster na merong pagkakapare-pareha sa mga services nila or dun sa mga destinations nila. That's why kaya pag pumupunta yung mga turista doon, hindi pwedeng hindi pupuntahan yung mga destinations na yon because doon sa cluster na yon ay interconnected yung mga tourism businesses and attractions. So, 'di ba kapag merong mga ino-offer na tour yung mga travel agencies or yung mga tour operator lagi, for example, Vegan, Lawag, Pagudpud, magkakasama yung tatlong 'yan. Kailangan mapuntahan lahat because they are part of the cluster. Kasi nga, interconnected sila doon sa mga available attractions and services na meron sila. Mostly, when you visit this cluster or this place, more on heritage, culture yung mapupuntahan ninyo or mga artifacts. Another example ng tourism cluster is yung Cebu Bohol na tour. Cebu Bohol tour, pwede rin siya. Why? Because when you avail the Cebu Bohol tour, ang similarity nila is yung mga island hopping, what do you call this? Extreme adventure. Diba? When you go to Cebu, especially North Cebu, nandyan yung water diving, whale shark watching, um, yung mga cliff diving, same with Bohol. Ganon din yung ino-offer niya. So, Cebu Bohol is also part of tourism cluster. Okay? Next naman, class, is tourism circuit. Okay? When we say tourism circuit, isa siyang ruta or isa siyang destination sa magkakaibang lugar pero merong common characteristics or common theme yung ino-offer nila. Okay, so for example, ang best example nito, La Union, Baler, Siargao. Magkakaiba sila ng location or ng place kung saan sila uh, nakalagay, pero yung theme nila ay pare-parehas. So, ano yung mga magkakaparehas sa kanila? They are known for surfing. Okay? Because beaches for these places are good for surfing. La Union, Baler Aurora, Siargao. Okay? They are famous in surfing. Okay? That's what we call tourism circuit. Next is tourism corridor. Mabilis niyong matatandaan yung tourism corridor. When we say tourism corridor class, these are usually the major transportations, the highways, the railways, or the rivers that we are using in order for us to cross one place to another, one destination to another. So, example, the Pan-Philippine Highway Tourism Corridor or the Maharlika Highway. Okay, when you um, enter the Philippine Highway Tourism Corridor or the Maharlika Highway, pa-north. Siya yung um, gate going to north. Okay, other example ng tourism corridors, we have NLEX, SLEX, CALAX, and the different railways and rivers that we are using in order for us to cross from different destinations. Okay, moving forward, what are the factors of effective tourism planning and development? Ano yung mga kailangan nating isaalang-alang in order for us to uh, create an effective and efficient tourism plan? The first one, class, is availability of tourism data. You have to do your research. You have to dig deeper. Okay, kailangan hanapin nyo muna ano ba yung data available dito sa lugar na to. Baka ito yung kailangan nating pag-focusan. Ilan ba yung tour guides dito? Ilan ba yung possible na tourist na pumupunta dito? Ilan ba yung attractions na meron sa lugar na to? Meron ba ditong festival? Meron ba ditong momentous event? Meron ba ditong mga kilalang pangyayari na naganap way back before na pwede nating gamitin sa ating plano? So on and so forth. So you have to create or you have to research on availability of tourism data because this is the first step in order for you to create your goal or your objectives for your tourism plan. Next, tourism expert availability. Doon ba sa destination na target mong i-enhance or i-sustain? Is there a tourism officer? Meron bang expert doon sa tourism industry na pwede mong makausap or makatulong sa paggagawa ng tourism framework? Next is variety of tourism resources. In that destination ba, meron bang enough supply of water? Meron bang enough supply of energy? Meron bang enough supply of people? Meron bang availability of attractions? Meron bang availability of experiences? You have to also know that. Next is sorry, this is typographical error. Culture of destination residents. Yung mga naninirahan doon sa destination na gusto mong i-enhance or pagandahin. Ano ba yung kultura nila doon? Are they open to um, what do you call this in Tagalog? To change, sa pagbabago. Okay? Nakiki-join ba sila sa campaign? O resistant sila sa change? Gusto nila gano'n na lang sila. Ayaw na nilang makipag-usap. So you have to also understand their culture. Yung religion ba nila, are they Roman Catholic? Are they Muslim? What are the behaviors of the people living on that destination? Are rude ba? Traditional? Professionals ba halos yung nakatira doon? So you have to also know that. Next is location of sites. Saan ba siya located? Okay, located ba siya sa Pacific Ocean? Sa Pacific Ring of Fire? Accessible ba siya? Napupuntahan ba siya ng tao? Meron ba siyang safety and security measures? So on and so forth. Next is target market. So, sino yung mga possible target audience or target customers na maaaring mag-visit or mag-avail ng mga products and services na i-offer mo dun sa tourism plan mo, dun sa destination na yon. Okay? Are your target market baby boomers, young adults, married couples, families, barkadas, friends, so on and so forth? And the tourism life cycle. When we say tourism life cycle, class, yung buhay nung availability ng attractions doon. Okay? So later on, I'll discuss to you what do we mean when we say tourism life cycle. Next is financial perception. Sa tingin mo ba may mga possible or potential investors na pwedeng mag-invest doon sa iyong tourism framework or sa iyong tourism plan. Okay? Perceptions of stakeholders. When we say stakeholders, the government, the media, the tourists, the host community, those are stakeholders. Ano yung thinking nila towards that destinations? Okay? Anong thinking nila towards that attractions? Okay? Is it negative? Is it positive? Are they supportive or are they not? And lastly, national policy and legislation. When we say national policy and legislation, yung mga batas na nakapaloob or interconnected doon sa specific destinations na yon. So before you create a tourism plan, you also have to understand what are the rules and regulations imposed and mandated by the government. Kasi kailangan mo siyang isunod doon. Now, the tourism life cycle. So as I mentioned, you also need to take in consideration the tourism life cycle. Now, when we say the tourism life cycle, it is referred to Butler model of tourist area life cycle. Dinevelop siya ni Richard Butler in 1980. So, dinidescribe niya yung stages ng development ng isang tourist destination from its initial recovery to its potential decline. Okay? In short, when we say tourism life cycle, mula nung siya ay itinayo or inilaunch hanggang sa mag-decline siya, magsara siya, or magkukontinue siya, yun yung tinatawag nating tourism life cycle. Now, I'm going to discuss it to you. Okay, so this is the framework for the tourism life cycle. So the first one is exploration. So when we say exploration, meaning here you're going to do your research, you're going to do your accumulation of data as we discussed earlier. So you're going to explore, may potential ba yung destination na yon? Pwede pa ba siyang lumago? Pwede pa ba siyang mapakinabangan? Pwede pa ba siyang ma-enhance? So now once you explore and you gather all of the possible data and information and nakita mo na yes, may potential siya. Now, if you can see na merong potential yung destinations na yon at pupuntahan siya ng tourist, then you're going to jump to the next step, which is the involvement. Under the involvement, now you're going to formulate your strategies, your framework for your tourism plan. Okay, you're going to do your scope. So, ano ba yung scope na gusto mong i-enhance doon? Yung physical facilities ba? Under environmental ba? Or conservation? So on and so forth. Now, once you polish your tourism plan, nagawa mo na siya, na approve na siya, okay na siya, dadako tayo sa development. I-implement mo na yung plano mo. Papagandahin mo na siya, i-enhance mo na siya, and whatever strategies that you put on your framework. And for example, nag-boom siya, nag-visit yung mga tourists, nakilala siya, papasok tayo sa consolidation. When we say consolidation, stable yung business. May pumupuntang turista, may nag-a-avail ng products, may nag-a-avail ng services, continue yung operations, ins and outs, yung mga nare-receive na inquiries. However, as times goes by, since maraming ang competitors na lumalabas sa market, daraan pa rin siya sa stagnation. When we say stagnation, hihina yung mga pumupuntang turista, babagal yung takbo ng operation. Now, dalawa lang yung pupuntahan niya after stagnation, and either decline, babagsak siya kasi hindi ka na nagplano, pinabayaan mo na siya, hinayaan mo na siya, or rejuvenation. When we say rejuvenation, you're going to make the operation lively or make it to life again. I-enhance mo ulit, i-develop mo ulit, magpaplano ka ulit, so on and so forth. Then, doon papasok yung tourism planning. Tourism planning is a never-ending process. Okay? It is a cycle, class. Okay? Because the goal of us while we are having our tourism plan is to sustain and to prolong the destinations or the attractions. Okay? Do you get it? All right. And that's the end of our discussions. If you do have questions, feel free to message me or comment so that I can answer your questions. So that's it. Thank you very much, class, and I hope you've learned something on our discussion today. Bye-bye.